You are listening to the Philadelphia FanCast with Ryan Quigley.
Hey! How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. Wow, I cannot talk today at all. Welcome to Quiggie Smallz on the Ball. I am your host, DJ Quiggie Smallz, and hey, who are you right there sitting next to me in an Under Armour sweatshirt with a camo hat? Who are you?
Your boy, Matt Duty, straight out of Southside, here once again.
Who let you in here?
You
My
did.
Goodness.
You let me in.
True. You got a point, I gotta say.
Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Guys, we have a bit of a big night tonight. If you don't know, the NFL free agency period has just begun. It started on Monday. Lupe Fiasco's career has been an absolute roller coaster since he rose to prominence in the mid-2000s. Lupe climbed up the chain lift with his feature on Kanye West's Touch the Sky and really started to soar with the release of his debut record, Food and Liquor. Then came his sophomore LP, The Cool, which brought him even more sky-high acclaim. But after his ascent to the stratosphere, Lupe began his freefall with the release of the disappointing Lasers, followed by the even more criticized album, Food and Liquor 2, the Great American Rap Album Part 1, which was far from living up to its predecessor. I'm here in Farmville, Virginia, and I'm standing outside of Mickey 7, a small business in downtown Farmville where the owner was brutally beaten and robbed just last Thursday, still leaving him hospitalized. The incident has left many other small business owners alert and even frightened.
It was probably around 7 o'clock.
Lots of moves left and right. We've been seeing players being traded. It's almost like it's the trade deadline almost.
Yeah, a lot of big moves.
I don't understand what's going on. But lots of moves going on. We're seeing lots
going
of
different places.
Exactly. We're seeing lots of free agent pickups. The Eagles have been in there. We've been seeing the Saints being pretty active from both releasing players, trading players, to picking players up.
Yep.
It's a very interesting offseason so far, to say the least. And here's the best part. The draft isn't even here yet. We have much longer to go. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be so much fun to keep track of. But for right now, guys, I have some music for you. This week, I have a little present. I hope you like 90s music, because that's exactly what I have. This is an artist that doesn't get nearly the amount of appreciation he deserves. At least not in America. If you've never heard of Noel Gallagher, he's one of the prominent members of the band Oasis. If you've never heard of Oasis, then you're probably an alien reading this review for some reason. When I asked Kanan Townsend what one word best describes his past, this is what he had to say.
Growth. I like growth.
Growth. Kanan is your normal college student. He likes working out, playing video games, playing sports, is involved with the school's Phi Mu Delta fraternity, continuously gives back to the community in his hometown of Farmville, Virginia. But it's Kanan's dark past that has sparked his growth into the model student he has become. We had some big news in the NFL today. With free agency going on, it's just absolutely nuts right now. And we had breaking news today that DeMarco Murray, the ex-Cowboys running back, is now a Philadelphia Eagle. Woo! Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He agreed to a 5-year deal worth, I believe...
Around 40
I believe
million.
It was $9 million a year that he's making? Yeah, because he's making $40 million a year. Mm-hmm. So $9 million for each of those years. $8 million.
Yeah. Somewhere around there.
Yeah, dude, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, he deserves
I did
it.
not see that happening at all. If you told me a week ago that DeMarco Murray would be an Eagle, I'd laugh my butt off.
And I know you're very happy. You're containing your excitement, being professional.
Yeah.
But everybody knows this man's an Eagles fan.
To listeners of this show, you may or may not know, I'm a big Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I'm trying not to get too into it. But I mean, I didn't. This is the biggest news of the day for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
I didn't see this happening at all.
Loading in pain.
That was the voice of Whitney Simpson, the first responder to the incident and called 911 initially. This incident has raised questions among small business owners as to how safe they are in the city of Farmville. Heather Red, the owner of Guys and Gals Premier right next door to Mickey 7, believes that safety for small businesses in Farmville could be a problem.
I mean, honestly, I think it's definitely a concern because,
Thank you for listening to the Philadelphia FanCast, where Philadelphia sports rule. Ha! That's hilarious. My name is Ryan Quigley, and it's a pleasure to have you listening in. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. We have the Eagles making trades and picking up players. We have the Flyers making trades. I was also lucky enough to have the opportunity to talk to Bleeding Green Nation's Mike Kay. So big shout out to Mike Kay. He gave a lot of insight on what the Eagles were doing. Not a lot of people do know that, but I digress. It's been a hectic week for Philadelphia sports indeed. So let's start off with the Eagles here. I mean, they've been all over the map.
I didn't know anything that was going on until probably when I was about to go into high school, because I was going to 4-H camp. And I was staying with my grandma just because it was summertime. Every summer I used to go up to my grandma's house to stay. And my mom came down, and that was weird because she never came down to my grandma's house unless it was like a church on Sunday. This is like a Friday. So she came down. I was like, Mom, what are you doing here? She's like, well, your dad kind of did some things. I'm like, what do you mean?
Kanan's father had tried to kill his mother Karen with a knife, but Karen shot him in self-defense. And that wasn't the end of it for Kanan. He also ended up losing his half-brother just a few years later. It all started last week with the cuts of Herman's, cornerback Kerry Williams, longtime Eagles pass rusher Trent Cole, which honestly, those were all pretty good moves in my opinion. People were expecting those for the most part. Maybe not the Trent Cole move. That may have been a little surprising to some people, but a lot of people had a slight idea that he could have gotten cut. But then later that day, the Eagles traded LaShawn McCoy to the Bills for their injury-prone linebacker Kiko Alonso, who used to be one of Chip Kelly's little ducklings at Oregon. I mean, that happened. That was actually a thing that happened in sports history, believe it or not. And that trade caused a lot of Eagles fans to really question Chip Kelly's decisions as the overseer of player movement, which is understandable. I mean, LaShawn McCoy was the center of the Eagles offense, so it's not hard to see why so many people were upset with the move. But then there was a little bit of good news. It was announced that the Eagles had agreed to terms with former Legion of Boom cornerback Byron Maxwell and 49ers running back Frank Gore, which most fans were actually really happy about, until Frank Gore got cold feet, as ESPN's Adam Schefter so eloquently put into words. So after everyone thought he was going to be an Eagle, he backed out and joined the Colts. So that threw a lot of people off, and thank God Byron Maxwell didn't back out too, because Philadelphia would have just engulfed in flames if that happened. I mean, I can't even imagine. And here's the best part. That was all before free agency period even started. Seriously. That's all for the Philadelphia FanCast for now, but tune in again soon to find out what the Eagles and Flyers may do as the NFL's free agency period and the NHL's trade deadline very quickly approach. Thank you for listening in, and I hope to have you listening in next time as well.